Welcome to Clockers. It's a podcast about television seasons that changed the medium. This is our inaugural episode, and we're starting with True Detective, Season 1. It's a season that didn't just succeed, it redefined what television could be. So if you're looking for a recap, there is a lot of that in here, but it's not exactly all that this is. This is a lot about why this season still matters, how it was built, and why nobody's been able to do it again. Happy New Year. Let's clock in. There are a lot of great television shows. There are very few seasons that permanently change the medium. True Detective Season 1 is one of those seasons. And what's interesting is it didn't do it with spectacle. It didn't do it with some massive cast. It didn't even do it with a massive budget. It did it with 2 actors, 1 writer, 1 director, 8 episodes, and a level of creative control that basically doesn't exist anymore. This season still comes up in every best of conversation, not because it's perfect, but because it felt dangerous. It trusted the audience. It took itself seriously without apologizing for it. And that's really what this podcast is about. That's what Clockers is about. Why certain seasons stick and why some television imprints itself on culture and others disappear a week after the finale. So if you've seen True Detective Season 1 once, twice, or 10 times, this isn't, some episode recap. It's a conversation about how the season got made, why it worked. We will go through the episodes and the timelines and all that stuff, but why nobody has quite been able to do it again. So with that, I have the crew with me right now. Gentlemen, is this the greatest season in TV history? CK?
It's up for debate, obviously. It was on at the same time as we've got Game of Thrones.
Yes.
We got Breaking Bad. They're calling this the golden age of television. I think we're like getting out of that now, because now it's like streaming. Soon we're gonna be getting into like AI stuff. But this, like, you're coming out of Sopranos and Band of Brothers, Pacific, really just HBO with the freaking monopoly of the greatest shows ever. But even like Stars had Californication, which I love. They had good shows on there too. The only thing for me personally that is just as good as this is Game of Thrones, but I couldn't narrow it down to season 2 or season 3.
Right.
Because I love them both equally. Season 3, you have the Red Wedding, but season 2, you have these great battles. So for one season, season 2 and 3 of True Detective suck.
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
3 has very good acting.
Is that with Jodie Foster?
No, that's 4.
That's 4. Who's in 3?
Mahershala Ali and Stephen Dorff. It's
Okay.
very well acted. Just nothing happens.
Yeah. Okay.
It is like watching people just like live and talk about a case and go back and forth on these different timelines and stuff. The only way to do timelines is the way that they are done in this show, because it wasn't confusing at all, because the characters look different. They look like they had aged. It tells the story perfectly and it helps shape the narrative for it. So the way that they did it in this was perfectly done, but it wasn't supposed to be a show at first. It was really just supposed to be a novel. And then they turned it into, said, well, I think we can make this into a show. And then they got McConaughey. Originally, though, he was going to be something else. We'll get into that stuff in a little bit. But I wanted your initial thoughts on this television show, because when we came up with the idea, we love movies, we love TV. When we came up with this idea of, well, why don't we just do kind of what we do on Night Shift? Why don't we come up with a TV podcast where we do the same thing, but we just review our favorite seasons of television? The thing that I thought of first was this. I thought, this is like lightning in a bottle, this True Detective season. It comes out in 2014. It's the first time I can remember where you got big screen actors to go down to the small screen. And it's the first time that I've seen people take note, other actors in Hollywood or wherever they are now, where they said, oh, well, if those guys can do it, maybe it isn't the worst thing in the world to showcase my skills. Instead of 2 hours, maybe do it for 8 hours. And maybe I'll get paid the same. Maybe I'll get paid a little bit more. Maybe I can have something that might live on forever. Maybe I'll have something that might be able to let me dive into a character beyond a 2 hour mark or a 90-minute mark, or, 2.5 hours if you're in some Scorsese movie. But I think it lets you build a relationship with a character better than anything else, a television show. And it allowed, this script is 450 pages, and McConaughey becomes McConaughey through this.
The McConaissance is what
the
they call it.
McConaissance began.
Yeah.
Now, he comes off of Lincoln Lawyer before this.
Was Dallas Buyers Club before this or after this?
I believe it's after.
Okay.
It's like right around the same time, though, because I'm not gonna lie to you, Russ Cole does look a little Dallas Buyers Club at a couple of points in this, but it is. When I think of good TV, I think of this, and it's because it's not overly complicated. It has just enough mystery and suspense and thriller and action and drama and interpersonal relationship dynamics on display. It's got all of it. But I feel like if this was a show that was made today, they would double the cast. They would try to double the storylines in it so that
there
it's
would have to be
so many different freaking things going on.
There's no woman in this that's like, well, there's Maggie.
Maggie.
They would have to have a detective that's a girl.
Yeah, they would. Because really, I don't think the Louisiana State Police had anybody in the office that was a female other than the secretary.
You think this is the best season of any show? Are you giving it number one?
Let me say something on that.
Go ahead.
That's tough to say. For me, the easy answer is yes, but when I dive into, in my head, first things that come up, Breaking Bad, of course. I think that's amazing. Mindhunters, Narcos.
I left out Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, Peaky Blinders. If we're talking, does it have to be a drama series?
No, but I think it is.
Because you could go Sunny in Philadelphia. You could go Office.
That's correct.
Yeah, let's say drama. Let's not do comedy.
Okay,
That's
so-
too many.
Drama, it's probably number one. And if it's not number one, it's still the grandfather that opened up the door for Narcos, Mindhunters,
So you're
Peaky
saying
Blinders.
it's Jim Brown.
It's
of-
Jim Brown.
Well, I can
it's Michael
think of
Jordan.
flaws
It's Michael Jordan that globalized it.
Yeah.
Because Breaking Bad and Walking Dead are on AMC, they can't use F words. They can't really show certain stuff. Although they show violence, but they can't do like sex scenes. HBO is just more realistic, and I feel like you can think of flaws. The budget is a little bit less with AMC. Like I can think of stuff for what's it called, The Walking Dead. Even though season 2 of The Walking Dead, it's just as good as almost any other show written. But another thing is you have this tension in that. You can kind of do it in Game of Thrones. There's two guys. Like it's a really good writing trope. You have two strong male characters. In The Walking Dead, there are also two cops.
Yep.
And they're both trying to fuck the same girl. What is that, dude?
Yeah,
What is it
yeah.
with these cops?
Classic cops.
Yeah.
Well, Are you talking about seasons of television that really stick out?
that were really good.
So I have a bevy of them that stick out. When I thought about this pod, naturally the idea is like, all right, well, think of all the best seasons of television. And first place I go is the stuff that sticks with me. It's usually a little bit darker. I don't really focus too much on the comedy stuff, but you mentioned Sopranos, The Wire, Stranger Things has
True Blood.
taken over. True Blood was great during its run. Dexter. You have a lot of different things that most of them end up being HBO.
Yellowstone.
I will say, like, what HBO figured out was a formula that audiences craved. And so you knew when an HBO show is coming out, I'm instantly interested. Whether it's good or not depends on a lot of different factors. But what made this so likable, this had more views than any other season of television for HBO since Band of Brothers in 2001. So when we're talking like 11 million people watching this per
More
episode.
Than Sopranos?
Per episode. So this season of TV was pre-streaming, so I think that helps it have a little bit longer legacy, because then you do kind of build up that I don't know, what do you want to call it? Anticipation.
Suspense.
You build up the suspense, but you also get a little bit more time to develop a relationship with the characters versus the streaming world. Now, I can still go on Netflix and watch Stranger Things and hang out with Steve Harrington and Nancy Wheeler and the whole gang, but it's not appointment television the way that it used to be. And I don't know that my brain would want appointment television anymore, because I kind of want it all now because I'm used to having it now. But it does resonate longer when you've had a chance to let stuff breathe. But what this one did so well, it was uniquely singular in the creative components of it. So what I mean by that is every other show has a million writers on it. They have a million producers. You got the studios always like, no, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. These guys had complete creative control. There was one writer. There was one director, not a bunch of them doing, like, even the new True Detective, it's like a new director for every episode or something like. It's crazy. It's exhausting. Think about that. But that's why this one resonates so well, because it is the same theme throughout. And there's no like, why did they do that? Or, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because it's the same person writing it. You don't have 50 different people on there saying, well, what if we do this or throw this character in there, just making up shit to make it up and throw red herrings in and confuse the audience or give them something like, oh, we gotta see how it goes next week, like soap opera television. You know what I mean? It's not like that. And so when I think best seasons ever, I think peak HBO, I think of this show. I think it became shorthand for quality in television. So when you think quality in television, I think most people that are our age that were really into this, I think they think True Detective. It's got to be in their top 5. This first season did so well and was so perfect. It has created the expectation that every other subsequent season would be really good, and they have all sucked.
And you touched on this earlier, how this was the breakout for McConaughey. I think for the whole SAG, every single actor there is, it gave hope that, hey, you don't have to be pinholed forever.
Right.
If you do a show like this and you get 8 hours instead of 2, you can change your whole MO. And he's the first. So this show is a first in many ways.
100%, dude. I think it just gave him the room to explore the character further and to really dive into it. And I think they are both so believable as their characters, Woody Harrelson and Matt McConaughey in this. doesn't hurt that they're friends in real life. They actually vacation together and stuff like that. They knew each other.
They're in commercials
that.
with the AC.
They're awesome. And it's also funny too that like who they present themselves as in the show, they're kind of like, you know, roles reversed in real life.
Yep.
But it's still like just chemistry is off the charts, and there's not too many cooks in the kitchen on this, which I think the more you study television and movies, the more you figure out how much involvement there is with it. There's editors and producers and all these different people that have their own opinion and say and stuff. And it just makes it way more difficult. If you're going to make really good art, I think you have to trust the artist and not just let everybody come in and have their own say. You're not going to be able to please everybody. And that's how these guys figured it out. They just didn't put everybody in.
It might not be perfect, but when you let one guy do it or two, it's a consistent message and it's easy to digest as the audience.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you can think of like all these great shows, when they're at their peak, that's how they're operating. And then when they start to fall off, it's when either they get past the point that the book was at and now they have to start making shit up,
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Or The Walking Dead, they've gotten past the comics and now they're just making shit up. They kill characters that are alive in the comics and you're like, well, what do we do now? So they don't know what they're doing in the season. With this, you have the one author. The whole theme is set up to go for that one season. So they got it.
They got
It's
it.
good.
It's also like there, and this might bother some people because we now, like if it were to get made today, like I said, you would have a lot more writers, you'd have a lot more cast involvement, you'd probably have there's multiple storylines in this, but you'd have probably more vantage points. Well, all right, what's Maggie up to? Let's go spend an episode with, Beth for whatever reason. Like you get way too much in depth on characters that don't really matter. The thing that resonates with this is the patience. I think they let the story breathe and they let the story be told, and you're allowed to think for it. You're not just distracted by action here, what this person say. Oh, wait, I didn't catch it. You don't really have to like rewind stuff. You also don't have to do any freaking homework on it. Like some of these new shows are like, what is this about? And God forbid it's on Disney Plus and it's going to be another Marvel prequel series, or now we've got a Hulk lawyer, Mrs. Hulk. It's like, wait, what? Like a lot of this stuff you have to like do homework. Literally just turn this on. If you're into crime, drama, thriller, mystery, suspense, if that's your jam, this is for you.
Yeah.
This is for you.
The things that are left ambiguous, like I don't really know what the Yellow King and Carcosa is still, but it's kind of supposed to be that way. Like it's, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
And I know it's based off of a book. There's a book called The King in Yellow or something like that, but
Yep.
I think you'd have to read that to kind of understand the reference.
But there's enough intrigue with the way that McConaughey keeps interrogating people, and the name comes up, the Yellow King, and with what's happening throughout this story, that you think something's out there, and I don't know what it is. It's human, but there's the element of the unknown, I think, is what attracts you, because I think there is something inside of us that wants to find out the truth. And there's something inside of these characters that they might lose faith in themselves throughout this, start drinking again, whatever it ends up being. But they don't lose faith in justice.
Yeah.
And they want to find whoever is doing this and bring them to justice. And these guys are not afraid to push the limits in order to do what's right. And that, I think, is what there's a few themes throughout this series. Let me say season rather than series, that resonate with audiences. You know, the little guy attacking the deep state, if you will, is one of them. But I think overall, it's light versus good, and even the light sometimes experiences its own darkness, but it will vanquish the darkness in name of the light. And you just trust these guys to eventually get there.
And I think you said this a second ago, the search for truth. I think that's why there's religious undertones in this, because you have Mr. Churchgoer, good old Southern boy, Woody Harrelson. Then you have the nihilistic philosopher and
Yes.
Russ Cole. Then you have the Yellow King. Then you have the churches they stop at. You get to see corruption in the good old boy Southern guy. You get to see corruption in the nihilistic guy.
Yep.
You get to see flaws in each different way of thinking, each religious backing for each character. And it puts everyone on an even playing ground, which makes it so, I guess, I don't know what the word is, but it makes everybody equitable in this as an audience member, because there's no one set theme or one religion. There's so many different pieces and parts, and they all have flaws and they all have good parts. And it's like you can kind of relax and just set into the movie and just focus on the truth or justice.
Yes.
Like,
But you also get to see everybody at their best and worst
mhm.
too, which is relatable. You see Rust doing the stuff that he doesn't want to do, like the drinking and
Meth.
meth. You get to see him. You get to see him come to terms with himself. He starts off as this guy who is this incredible, like incredibly sure of himself
Mhm.
person, and then as the season goes on, it becomes more and more vulnerable. And then you see Maggie, this proper wife of Marty, eventually break and then do what she does with Rust. So you see her at her worst,
Mhm.
and then you see Marty with his infidelity
Mhm.
at his worst. And did you know, sidebar, they didn't really want to do any nudity in that, but HBO was like, you're going to have to.
You're gonna.
I'm
do
sorry, you're going to
And
do
that's
it.
You're gonna like it.
Darius pulls her boobs out.
Yes. So she does that. Beth does whatever she does. You get to see her too. So there's like, it's not your typical HBO show where you're getting like that every single episode.
Yeah, yeah.
But you do get to see it. And I think it's, I don't know that tasteful is the right word for it, but you do get to see everybody at their best and worst.
Mhm.
And more often than not, at their worst. And so it makes you feel like, well, if those people can stoop to that level, then, whatever I'm doing is not that bad,
Mhm.
So I do think that we do love, as an audience, we love drama. We love nudity, like it or not. We like relationship tension,
Mhm.
no matter how uncomfortable it is, because it feels familiar,
Mhm.
whether that is romantic or a new partner.
Yeah.
If you're
Friendship.
exactly. We love to be voyeurs to bad things,
Mhm.
even if it's just for a bit, whether it's drugs, violence, sex, murder, the shock value of some of this stuff, the stuff that it's like, oh my God, I can't look away though. I want to see. We love putting ourselves into the unknown and the unseen and feel like we are there experiencing it with characters for the first time. We know these places and these people exist, or at least we think, but we've never experienced it for ourselves, a la the biker gang or the projects or the deep south and the coastline there. Like, there is something so charming about this season of television that I think Louisiana becomes a character along
Oh,
with
I love the
Rust
setting.
and
Mhm.
Marty and Maggie and the whole crew.
That tent church being a great example of that too.
Yes.
It's like you've never seen a church like that, and it just that scene just sets the tone for the kind of people they're going to be dealing with for the
Exactly.
rest of the season. Like, oh God, you've got. I mean, you can see how they can all be manipulated by this guy.
Yeah.
And you don't really know his intentions either.
No.
He comes into play later, but
Tuttle.
what's the preacher's name?
He's an amazing actor.
What's that guy's name?
He's in the new.
He's in the new.
Pause.
He's in all the Mission Impossible stuff.
Well, no,
now.
he's also in the new show that describes the guy who killed Andrew Garfield. He's the senator. He's a great actor.
Yeah. He's also in Boardwalk
Yeah.
Empire. I think he must have been under contract with HBO
Yeah,
exclusively
dude,
at this
he's
point. 'cause
amazing.
he's in a lot of
Joel
stuff.
Theriot was his name in the.
That's it.
In
Joel.
Classic
Preacher
Joel.
Shea Wingham or Wigham.
Preacher Wingham.
Preacher Wiggle. But even him, you get to see him at his worst because he's at his best when he's preaching and he's, he is this born again Christian or whatever, giving these sermons in this Bible Belt, tent revival atmosphere. And then you fast forward a couple years later and he's drunk and down on his luck and all this stuff. So, before we get
and he knew about something.
He knew.
He wasn't part of it, right? But he knew that it was going on.
Exactly. And you find that evil, the evil of not getting involved with it, the turning of a blind eye.
That's one of the major themes in this because Rust is like, he is honesty in this show. He doesn't lie to himself. He doesn't lie to anybody. He can't. He wishes he could. Marty is...
If he's talking, he's lying.
Marty is constantly lying. He's lying to himself.
Yep.
He's... they're both dealing with trauma in their own way. Marty is just banging whatever he can that walks. Yeah, what were we talking about though? Why did I bring that up?
He's not just lying. He's like, as far as getting girls, he's lying as in he's saying all the right things to his coworkers to be the likable guy.
Mhm.
And Rust is the perfect antithesis to that, saying, oh my God, you're just fucking full of shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's the only one that's actually after the truth of the case.
Yes.
Everybody's sucking up to the fucking Tuttles. Like, we know what they're doing, but hey, they play poker with the mayor and they know the governor, so we can't touch them. The chief especially. Dude, the one thing that I can't stand in every single detective show, the fucking chief is always like, you guys, I've given you 1 week. You haven't figured out anything. That's it. You're off the case.
Every time.
You're off the case.
Like,
What? Give them like a month, dude.
Yeah.
how many cold
Every
cases
show.
are there? Like,
Dude,
a billion.
the chief is always against the detectives. Is
Yeah,
that how it is? Like, we need to call a detective.
Yeah, we need to have a detective with us next time for these.
Yeah, a true
It
detective.
makes sense.
A
'Cause
true detective.
they're the first ones that get the heat from the politicians.
True.
The mayor.
Well, maybe it's really like
governor.
that. I mean, I don't know.
It is.
But it is, if I had to
to an
say,
extent.
there's one, it's not really a flaw, but it's kind of a cliche in this show.
Mhm.
That's in every cop movie. Even in the other guys.
Yeah.
It's like literally
It's
every
even
single
comedy.
cop movie. And that guy, I always knew him as the Transformers dad.
Yeah.
So when I see him, I'm like,
Yes.
what is he doing in this show?
I think his name
He was good though.
Ken Dunn, maybe? He's very good in this. I like
He was good in it, but I just can't get that him being the dad from
Even-
Transformers out of my head.
even the next captain or chief or whoever
In the
crapped
next
on him.
season.
Yeah. No. I mean, in that season. So that guy, Transformers dad, is
Oh,
in
he
it
gets
for like
promoted.
He gets promoted and then they get him on the boat.
episode. We'll get to that. All right. For the audience, let's recap the premise here. because we talked a lot about this. Before we go any further, I want to recap it. We have two detectives that investigate a ritualistic murder. The case becomes inseparable from who they are. Solving the crime matters a little bit less than surviving it as the season goes on. That's the short version. The long version is in 2012, Louisiana State Police detectives Rust Cole and Marty Hart are brought in to revisit a homicide case that they worked in 1995. As the inquiry unfolds in present day through separate interrogations, the two former detectives narrate the story of their investigation, reopening some unhealed wounds and drawing into question their supposed solving of a bizarre ritualistic murder in 1995. The timelines braid and converge in 2012 as each man is pulled back into the world that they believed that they had left behind. In learning about each other and their killer, it becomes clear that darkness lives on both sides of the law. So, this is a crime, drama, mystery, thriller genre. There is some Southern Gothic and neo-noir elements to it. It's got an oppressive, intimate, but fatalistic tone. It is set in Louisiana. Originally, they were going to do it in Arkansas. Glad that they changed that.
I would even throw horror into a little bit of horror.
There is a little bit to it. And I think having it be in Louisiana made it so that it's so weird, because Louisiana has this charm to it because it is Southern and the people still have that twang, but it's got that French
Cajun
piece to it that kind of twists things up a little bit. By the way,
well, they have their own religion thing.
Yes. It's also the names in this are phenomenal. I mean, God, they nailed every single name in here. The victims,
Dora
the bad
Lang,
guys.
Reggie Ledoux.
Yeah, Reggie Ledoux.
That is
So-
the most
I
Louisiana
had a
name.
substitute teacher named Miss Ledoux.
So did I.
Reggie's mom?
We probably the same mom.
Yeah,
Is she big?
I don't remember.
Might have been Reggie's mom.
You might have been.
Might have been
Miss
from the
Reggie.
bayou. Down the bayou.
Prior to this, I think Louisiana was best known for Waterboy. No, I'm kidding. I just think that like it has this charm factor to it. It's also got the water, which is always compelling. Water is always compelling. Anything along the coast, I'm in.
The bayou.
The bayou, because you know that there's monsters in the water no matter how beautiful it is. The forests are thick and full of unknown, but it's also pretty to look at. You see some people doing really well, the Tuttles. You see some people that are the poorest of the poor. And it just seems like a world where kind of anything can happen, but it's small enough where everybody kind of knows everybody too. And so I think with that, it sets the perfect background for this kind of story and becomes one of the funnest and most interesting characters in the whole story, the setting, which is super unique. There's a lot of decay. There's some industry. There's some emptiness, and a lot of forgotten spaces in this. And frankly, a lot of forgotten people. That's another theme to this that I think resonates with the audience. They're thinking, well, maybe if I was less fortunate, I could have been one of the victims and been forgotten. And there's people out there that would be like, well, whatever, they didn't matter. There's a nobody. And then there's people that are like a Rust Cole who are like, no, I'm going to find out who did this to Dora Lang and who's doing this to all these people and put an end to it. And I think that's beautiful. Normally, I hate dual timelines too.
Mm-hmm.
This is done perfectly.
Perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Perfectly.
What's a show that did it that wasn't good.
Oh my God. I mean, any of the Avengers stuff is like, Jesus, what is
Well-
happening? Who is what? Where? What?
Oh my gosh, there's one I watched recently where I was like, I'm done.
Even
I'm done.
Even season 3 of True Detective, same thing. Like, they have multiple timelines. Nobody knows. Like, what? Who's doing what? This, they did it really well because they helped by changing the way the guys looked. If they didn't change the way that the guys looked, maybe it would have been harder. But Maggie looks totally different.
It was
Rust,
very believable.
oh,
But it was
100%.
easier to age them down. Maybe if you have younger actors, it's harder to believe that a younger actor is older.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they were like,
Middle
were
age.
they 30? Were they 40? It was perfect. And then, because they were both, what, 40 something
Yeah, I think so.
during this?
Around that time. Yeah. Yep. In terms of what kind of viewer this show demands, I think it's got to be, obviously you got to be into the genre. If you're a type of person who doesn't want to watch, this kind of thing, then it's not for you. But people that can have a little comfort in silence and think for themselves rather than have the show tell you every little thing about why. That's why, like, some of the shows that they make now bother me because it's like, dude, I can freaking
I'm already gonna know what's gonna happen.
I already know what's going to
That's the
happen.
He's
worst.
bad.
Not with
And
this.
I
You
don't
had no
need you
idea.
to explain a bunch of
I
things to me
still
that
don't
I already
understand
know.
this fully.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're not making my point good then.
I think every time you watch it, there can be a
Well, there's-
slightly different interpretation. 'Cause
Yes.
there is this supernatural religious element throughout the whole thing. There is this religious supernatural element, and your interpretation of what that means can change every time you watch it. I didn't realize the first time I watched it, I was in high school, how good of a person Rust Cole is. He's actually a saint. He only has one thing that he does that's bad, and it's banging Maggie. Everything else he
Yeah.
does is literally self-sacrificing because he's given up on his life. He can't have a real life.
Yes.
His daughter died. He's never going to move on from that. He can't forgive himself. He can't get over the pain. So he is fully committed to basically saving these other kids that are endangered. And he will literally do anything. Like the scariest thing you can think of, like going in undercover, doing drugs, pretending to be in this biker gang, and then going into a gang neighborhood and just not giving an F. And he's just fully, like I said, self-sacrificing. Like, he is a real hero in this.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it when I was younger, obviously, he's a hero, but I was like, thought he was more flawed. But really, he's kind of like the most moral person in the show.
I think so. I mean, he doesn't have, and Marty points it out a bunch of times, he doesn't have bedside manner
No.
at all. But he 100% does the right thing outside of the Maggie thing. But in his defense, if a beautiful woman is going to be necking you, like, what am I supposed
hold
to
on.
do?
Even the Maggie thing, in
She did it
his
on
mind,
purpose.
maybe he was thinking, look, they're done. I'm going to help her out.
I don't think so.
I think it was his one. You could be like, well, he did that because he needed to end this cycle of lies that Marty was doing.
Too.
So it did finally have them
Like,
confront each
someone's
other.
got to do it.
But I think it was his one flaw, and they had to make him like, let's give him one flaw because otherwise he's perfect. But I think it was his one flaw because he does desire a regular life with a good woman and kids, because he can never have it because his girl died. His wife dead, or they just broke? They couldn't take it. They just divorced because of the.
And he would always tell Marty, like, you better cherish it, blah blah blah.
And he was jealous of Marty's life, and Marty was just pissing it away.
Yeah,
I mow my own lawn.
Yeah,
thanks.
I don't need you to. But you got to remember, like, Russ had spent a lot of time with Maggie, so he knew she was a good person. He's obviously a very good judge of character too. the way that he goes throughout the season doing the interviews, the interrogations, and being like far and away the number one assist getting confessions. He knows how to connect with people. He knows how to get information out of them. So he knows she's a really good person. He also spends all of his freaking time with Marty, so he knows what Marty's good at and what he's not good at. And despite all of the flaws that both of them have with, you know, just in general humanity, they still care for each other. And they still, and he knows at the end of the day, Marty will have his back, even though it might not feel like it in the moment, or they're going to have fights and they're going to literally.
You're talking about Marty and Russ?
Yeah. They're literally going to kick each other.
They are friends.
But he knows I can count on him when I need it. And Marty sure as shit knows he can count on Russ when he needs it.
Yeah.
That dude is a brick house. So let's take a quick break right here. When we get back, CK and I are going to get into how the show got made, some behind the scenes stuff, and then our deep dive. That's it for part 1 of our Clockers breakdown of True Detective Season 1. In part 2, we're diving into how this season was built, the structure, the performances, and the choices that made it feel dangerous in the very best ways. If you missed part 1, go back. It sets the foundation for everything that's coming next. We'll catch you on part 2.